Hello and welcome to my next sketchbook tour. I announced this sketchbook tour way back with my first sketchbook tour, but I took so much longer than anticipated to fill the sketchbook that I even did a sketchbook tour of the red sketchbook that I started after the sketchbook on this YouTube channel already. But I was able to finish it and I'm doing the sketchbook tour now with you guys so you can enjoy it with me. I worked in the sketchbook from September 2021 to August 2023, though I didn't really do anything in 2023 with the sketchbook. It was mainly oh no, I still have all those pages that I don't have finished yet and I need to finish them. And I was stressing myself out with that until I decided I'm not gonna finish those sketches anymore. So the sketchbook starts with some stickers. Those 4 stickers are from Liepke. I got them because I joined their Kickstarter of their art book, The Sketches of Liepke, a wonderful art book. And then I have a little sticker that is an avatar sticker that I got from the manga store here in my city, and a postcard stamp from a Vermeer exhibition that was close to my grandparents' place. And I start the sketchbook with a welcoming page where I ask people to contact me if I ever lose the sketchbook and they find it, and a self-portrait. I'm sitting here in my desk chair with my printer, an upgrade box and some books, holding one of my really pretty glasses. It was summertime at the time where I was drawing it, and it felt really fitting. Wearing jewelry that I used to wear at the time, and a dress that I bought in 2021 and that I really liked and wore a lot at the time. I'm not wearing it anymore because I have the feeling that I gained some weight and I'm just afraid to ripping it apart when I wear it nowadays. So I probably need to look into how I can adjust the dress that I maybe have, like a corset thing or something like this, to adjust the size to me so that I don't feel like I would destroy the dress, because I really love it and I feel really good in it. And I drew this illustration with watercolors and my trusty gold pen from Sakura. It's my favorite gold pen and I love to use it, and I use it a lot in this sketchbook, but also in other sketchbooks. It's this one. It's really great and it gives me the best results in regards of gold pens. And I even have like some sparkles in the hair. Don't know how visible this is gonna be, but it looks really pretty in person and I'm really happy with this drawing. And you may saw the pen in my hairstyle. At the time I was using pencils and pens to do hair updos. Nowadays I'm using hair clamps. Then to the next sketchbook spread. This is not a spectacular spread. I did some swatches of watercolors that I bought for myself from Ree, that is an artist that I follow on Instagram, and they also have a YouTube channel and they make their own watercolors and sell them. And in 2022 I believe they had that Valentine's collection, and I saw this Valentine's collection, thought, oh, they're so pretty, so I decided to order those colors. They were like in heart-shaped dots, and those 2 I got as samples, and I really like the green. It has like shimmer and it looks really good, and I felt really lucky when I got my order, because at the time I was really into drawing my frog girls, and it's like green and the yellow in addition to the other colors, so it was perfect for drawing frog girls, and I was like, I need to draw frog girls with those colors. I think I only did it like once, but I hope I will do it in the future again. And then later on I did this little line art illustration, but I didn't like the proportions and I felt really unhappy about it, and I planned at the start to like color those 2 with the colors I got here, but I decided against it because I felt really unhappy with them, even though like their outfit is really cute and really froggy. And then this here is a drawing I did while I was waiting at the bus station, at one of the bus stations here in Trier, and then a little card that I got from V that was included into the watercolor. And then here is the spread that was the first spread that I filled in the sketchbook. It was part of an upgrade box. It's an art subscription box that I get monthly from my parents as a present. I got the sketchbook in the subscription box, as well as some colored pencils and acrylic markers. And I had so much fun with them. And it's just so amazing. I'm stunned when I look at the drawings here, and I'm really, really happy what I did with it. There were also some water paste pens here, now that I remember. Oops. And the pens that I got, I adore them. They are so fun to use, and it was probably one of my favorite upgrade boxes that I ever got. And I think with this box I started doing those lashes that are going down, and nowadays I try to do them nearly always because I love them so much. Then the next spread, I wanted to focus on my D&D character Pebbles, but I spent so much time just thinking about the poses and how to draw the Dulcimer that I got really overwhelmed, and in the end I only drew like this new outfit from Pebbles here when they were undercover, and instead of being clothed in blue clothes, she was like in green clothes with some golden details, and she was playing a merchant, and instead of her puffs she had braids. I really like this design, though I adore my usual Pebbles drawings way more. And then when I was finishing the sketchbook, I was like, I have this whole empty page where I didn't draw anything, and it was annoying me a lot. So I decided to, instead of drawing Pebbles, just do a little cute illustration. So I drew this girl with butterflies and a flower dress, and I wanted to color it with watercolors because the paper is holding up watercolors really well. So I did the washes that you can see here, but at some point I just was not feeling it. In addition, I caught up a little smudge from my fountain pen with my brush, and so I have that lilac smudge there. And I just decided that the sketchbook is now taking so long, and I just don't want to work in it anymore because it's now 2023. I started in 2021. I nearly didn't touch it anymore since the end of 2022, that I was like, this is just finished. It's just over. I'm not gonna work on this anymore, and who knows, maybe I'm gonna pick it up in some years, but I just didn't want it to bother with it anymore, so I decided this is good. And then here is another upgrade box that I got pens from. In the sketchbook you will have at the start a lot of pages dedicated to upgrade boxes, because I was still working on my big sketchbook but didn't have space for upgrade boxes anymore, so I put all the upgrade boxes in here and continued drawing later on. Like the left pages are most of the time way later filled than the right pages, because I somehow in the sketchbook preferred the upgrade boxes being on this page with the stickers than on this page. And in this upgrade box, I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. It had those pens where you blow in and they have those spray effects, but the pens got really spitty when I was using them, and it just felt really uncomfortable. It was like the end of 2021 and like in the middle of the pandemic, and like the whole pandemic thing increased my sensitivity to hygiene way more, and I was like, I just don't like this, and I don't want to use them, so I didn't experiment with them a lot, and I filled those things later on. I think it was April or May when I drew this, and I think I got this box in November. And here you have the little drawing that was the sketch where I planned what I wanted to have on my first page of the sketchbook, because I drew that way later on than when I started my sketchbook. And then to the next upgrade box. I really love this one. I drew a lot with the pens that I got here. There were alcohol markers and pencil, some really thin fine liner, and a really pretty acrylic marker with this gorgeous neon orange. And this is a study from Milt Kobayashi or Malcolm Liepke. And then those drawings I did later. Those two are my OCs, Sophie and Miriam. I started drawing them in, I believe, 2018, maybe 2019, I'm not 100% sure. And I drew them because I felt really lonely at the time, so I started drawing couples. And recently I picked them up and gave them names, and here's another drawing with those two. Then this little illustration was also in the upgrade box, and I really liked it, so I glued it into my sketchbook. What was really nice, because I had a bleed through on the paper either way. And then I did a little sketch with my OCs Elle and Amelia, and another illustration with the alcohol markers. And I really like how I used the neon orange acrylic pen here. I enjoyed that a lot, so much that I wanted to do it here again. But with most of those acrylic pens, you move them so that they make that sound, and then you stab them on the paper. And I did the stabbing on the paper, but on the drawing, because I was careless and I didn't want it to waste space on the paper. You know, those things that you do when you're careless and you're not that wise in the moment, and it splooged out. I never had it splooge out that much, and I tried to solve this mistake by making splooges on purpose on some other places, but I really dislike how this looks. And then the other drawings I did not in December but on a later time. Those two were designs for Minecraft skins. One's for my partner. This is a steampunk theme Minecraft skin, and then for me. And that was shortly after the update where they included the frogs and the new swamps with the mangrove wood. So I made a frog themed Minecraft skin, what I enjoyed a lot, because I was in that time into my frog girls, something I need to pick up again, frog girls. And in regards of frog girls, there's a frog girl. And this frog girl I colored with the watercolors that I got from Chevy some pages ago, and I'm really happy with how she looks. I'm enjoying how the hair looks, I'm enjoying the clothes and how I rendered the skin, and you see it in person better, but she has a slight glitter in the hair, and the green is shiny, and I love it. I love it so much. Then to the next page. So this drawing I also did in December while I was visiting friends. We were celebrating Christmas together, and I drew this little mermaid drawing. And those I did then in 2022, I think in June. It was directly after Mermaid that I started to feel like drawing more again. At the start of 2022 I had my not usual, but at the time usual art block where it was really hard to draw and where I struggled a lot, and it stopped being that intense between May to June. And I started with Frog Girls, and Frog Girls brought a lot of joy back to me. And then I continued with Frog Girls into Mermaids. But not during Mermaid, where it would be really nice, because I love Mermaid and I love to join Mermaid. No, directly after Mermaid. And I started watching H2O with my partner. So I have some sketches in regards of H2O. And then I drew this mermaid, just a little ink drawing with dip pen, but it was really fun to do, and it was so fun to do that I planned to do more ink drawings with dip pen. So I sketched, I don't know who was first, but I sketched those. They wanted to do a mermaid in a pond with lilies and a lot of frogs. Here's a frog and she has frogs on her hands and she's holding frogs and frogs swimming, but I didn't finish this. And then I did this mermaid with that wonderful cyan ink, and I really love this. I also did some prints with this for my family and friends as presents, and I really struggled. I tried to edit the scan so that the color would look as pretty as here, but I had problems achieving a cyan color in CYMK. So the prints are more like a light blue, and they are definitely not as stunning as the original, but I still enjoy the prints. They're nice. And then here's a doodle from my friend. She was trying out some pens that I had. And then there's another upgrade box. I think that was the January or February upgrade box. I don't know anymore. And I got acrylic colors I believe. And I tried to draw with them, but it was really hard doing art, and I tried to do this kissing scene, but I just gave up in the middle and stopped. And then here's another mermaid ink drawing, and I'm really happy with this one. And I'm also happy that I have like 3 different mermaids here, that are one in the front and some further in the back, and I enjoyed figuring this out and drawing this a lot. Then the next upgrade box, obviously, because I'm still like catching up with the sketchbook, or was catching up with the sketchbook, and this drawing was way later than those drawings here, and I still was like in my struggles to do stuff, and like I really loved the sketchbook. Like I opened it and I was like, oh, this is amazing. It had acrylic gouache, and it was in cooperation with Naomi, and she's an amazing artist that I adore a lot. So I had a lot of fun putting down the stickers, and that was really great. But then like really drawing just still was such a struggle. So I didn't do a lot and just had the next upgrade box then here with some water-based markers. I didn't like the colors as much, but I also put in some liquid that would remove the colors, so that was really cool. But I didn't do anything with it because I just struggled so hard doing art. So all the drawings you see here I put in later. Tried to practice people sitting. And this is a little fan art drawing from Blue, from that animation movie on Netflix. Sea Monsters is the name. I'm not 100% sure. And then the next page I dedicated to frogs, because I was really into frogs and frog girls in my head. Was like, doing some realistic studies of frogs sounds like a really great idea. So I did the sketches and then the line art, and then I wanted to color all of them with watercolors because I enjoyed watercolors a lot. So I started with this, and I used a watercolor that is really shiny. I don't know how good it picks up, but it's so shiny, and I really love it because the frog looks like really red, and I used that color on this frog too, like a little bit. And then this was the third frog I colored, and with those two I started to give up. Like I drew this in summer and I continued coloring them until December of 2022 or so, I believe. And it took me quite a lot to get up the energy to do those paintings, because painting just takes way more energy for me than just doodling and sketching. So getting myself to do it sometimes is so hard, especially like the past year, longer than a year even, I struggled with it, or started to struggle more with it, what is really sad, because I really love painting and I'm trying to do it more recently again, what makes me really happy. But I struggled here with it, and I didn't use the sketchbook anymore. Like those were one of the last things I needed to finish, and I got impatient, what you can see here, because I worked in too wet of the watercolors, and I just decided at some point, okay, this is enough, I'm gonna stop, this is good enough. And I'm really happy with the frogs that I finished. And then here is when I started to have more fun drawing again with this upgrade box. I think that was the upgrade box for April. I'm not 100% sure. And the colors were just so bright and wonderful. So I did a lot of drawings, and my favorite is this little one here, where I used, in addition to the colors that I got from the box, a fine liner, because the black was a really big chunky marker, and with the fine liner I could do some finer lines, and they're so cute. So I had a lot of fun with this box. And then in the next box I was struggling again. Even though I had so much fun with the other one. So you only have like a mermaid here, even though I got those stunning watercolors that are like just really shiny. I still need to use them more. I just need to draw more. That is something I think nearly daily, even if I don't have energy. My head is like, oh, I need to draw more. I just need to draw more. And then I think this box I got in May or June. Maybe I got this box in May. Yeah, April, May, then this box I got in June. And the topic was for the box, Worldwide Map, show us your place to be. I got a lot of fine liners. So I drew an area from Lisbon with like this beach, and my partner is living close to this area, so I got a photo from him and I drew this, and I had a lot of fun. And I really like how it looks. Like, I know it could be better because I'm just not that used to drawing landscapes nor buildings, but I had a lot of fun and I'm really happy with the result based on my skill sets. The only thing that is a little bit sad is that I probably should have used like way more of the darker fine liners, because the light fine liner is not as visible, and when I scanned the drawing and edited the drawing, the fine light gray lines kind of got lost. What is really sad, but I love it, and I have the "you're mine" in regards of my partner, in regards of the landscape. And then the rest of the space I filled with some cute girls, and I needed to add red blush because I'm just not feeling as happy if I don't add blush to the people I draw. So every upgrade box that does not have colors where I can add like red or reddish blush is like a sad point in my life. Sometimes just the simple things can make me really happy or really sad. And then here I started planning an illustration that I wanted to draw for my father for his birthday. And I wanted to draw a girl holding a cat or interacting with a cat. And I wanted the cat to be an orange cat because my parents got an orange cat in that year. I was testing a lot of poses with cats for the drawing for my father, and I continued with that later on. And the foxes I drew for a little birthday card for 1 fee. It was like a birthday card where I was promising her to buy her some art prints or something like this. And she likes foxes a lot, so I decided to draw a fox that says, "I heard you like art prints." And then on the other side of the card is standing that she can have an art print from me with that amount of money or something like this, I believe. And then another upgrade box, this time with, I believe, gouache, and the blue was an acrylic paint, I believe. And I did some painting here, and I struggled with painting here a lot. Like in December 2021 to the start of 2022, I figured out how I like to paint with gouache, and I prefer like adding like the shadows and the darkest places first with like a nearly black color, and then adding lighter things instead of like putting down like the mid colors in a shape, because it prevents that I get lost in that mid color where I don't see my sketch anymore. But here I just put down the mid color and I lost my sketch, and I got really confused and I didn't enjoy it as much. But I enjoyed the topics that I went with, like with those fairies, and they also gave me like this really pretty golden washi tape that I used here for the dress. And I really wanted to do like with the colors. I felt so inspired to do drawings and paintings, and maybe even do the drawing in the time that they give you for the topic that they have. So I did those sketches here, how I could maybe do an illustration with like a fairy person in nature, but I never finished stuff as usual. And then here are more drawings with cats, and I like the sketch here, how the person was holding the cat the most. So I tested out the color scheme, and I decided that I wanted the top to be with this cat washi tape. And I think I have a scan of the illustration, so I will show you the illustration here in the video. And my father loved it. I'm also really proud of it, though I did not manage to finish it at his birthday because depression just made me work really, really slow. Like, it was really annoying. But I finished it, so I'm really proud of it. And this here on the right side is a new OC of mine. I made this OC just because I wanted to draw this dress. I saw this dress online and I loved it so much. I think it is like a crocheted or knitted summer dress in this bright yellow with some flower embroidery. It looked so good. And because it looked so good, I was like, I want to draw it. I need a reason to draw it. I can make an OC just to draw this dress. So I made Rita. And Rita is the best friend of Miriam. They meet each other at university and they both study linguistic together and they hang out a lot with each other. And with the first drawing, I did not like the skin with the color of the dress, so I changed the skin color a little bit, made it a bit more reddish. And I really enjoy how this looks. And later on, I drew Rita a lot. I need to start drawing her again. I only stopped drawing her because I had a gray sketchbook and I felt overwhelmed picking her skin color in regards of pens with the gray sketchbook. So I hopefully will start drawing her and all in all my OCs more again now that I'm back into a white sketchbook. And then on the next page I was drawing some frogs with acrylic pens, and these were studies of how other people make cute frog drawings and stylized frogs, and those two were then the results where I was taking what I liked from those studies into my art style, because I wanted to do like more drawings and doodles of such cute frogs, but I don't think I ever continued using those two, so maybe I will pick it up later again. And then here you see some little drawings. Those two were a little present for the birthday of a friend, and I scanned them and edited them and made telegram stickers out of them. And here's then already the end of the sketchbook. On the last page of the sketchbook I decided to swatch the watercolors I had at that time. Nowadays I have some more, so I need to do a new list with swatches. I had some doodles, and here this little sketch with the gold paint from here, so it's super shiny. I enjoy it so much. And then the stickers are from Sad and Dirty, and this sticker is an avatar sticker from that manga store again. And that was already my sketchbook tour. I hope you enjoyed the time with me, and I hope you liked going through the sketchbook with me, and maybe we will hear each other again in my next YouTube video whenever that will come out. And I hope you will have a good week, and if you struggle, you can do it. I believe in you.